Hey ho gamers, I'm Eurogamer's YouTube Editor Ian Higton, and this is Eldritch Mountains of Madness, an expansion pack for Eldritch which is a super cool roguelike-alike from indie developer David Pittman. Eurogamer's Christian Donlan absolutely loves the game, and he was kind enough to record this gameplay for me so we can all see the expansion in action. Now, maybe you're not familiar with the game at all. I wasn't, but luckily, like the legend he is, Christian gave me a whole load of info so I can share his knowledge with you. At first glance, Eldritch may look like your typical Minecraft rip-off thanks to its glorious high-colour blockishness, but it's actually sort of a survival horror experience, and in terms of handling and weaponry and stuff, it has a lot in common with games like Dishonored and the System Shock titles. The biggest influence, though, is the writer HP Lovecraft. Mr. Lovecraft was a terrible old racist, but his stories have an amazing power to them. They're full of ancient beings who toil away in vast hidden cities on the edge of reality. They're disgusting and really claustrophobic, and characters like Cthulhu have entered pop culture in a big way. The original Eldritch was released towards the end of last year. It's an action-adventure in which you start in a sinister library and then enter one of 3 magic books which takes you somewhere horrible, to one of 3 3D worlds where you have to work your way down from one level of a subterranean cavern to the next, before finding the exit. Like most games nowadays, the environments are procedurally generated, meaning they'll be different every time you play, and they're filled with loot and weaponry. Guns, daggers, explosives, rocks, health kits, keys for locked doors, artifacts that work as mana, all that sort of jazz. And of course there are horrible enemies to avoid too. Anyway, people loved it, but a lot of folk thought it was too easy. To remedy that, there's a New Game Plus mode at the end, and now there's this free expansion which gives you a new book in the library that takes you on a new adventure. This is based on the Lovecraft novella At the Mountains of Madness. I'll assume for the sake of flow that you haven't read this, but it's basically The Thing set in the 1930s. A bunch of explorers in the Antarctic discover the remnants of an ancient alien civilization which has built a huge sprawling city on the top of a series of monumental mountain ranges. The horrible alien creatures who knock the place together are called the Elder Ones, or the Old Ones, and they have star-shaped heads and stupid little wings. They also created a race called Shoggoths to do their bidding for them, and these guys are horrible shape-shifting puddles of plasma that have slowly grown more intelligent and unhappy with their lot. Anyway, good times. The game itself starts you off in the frost and snow near your plane, which you're missing the keys from. Instead, you have to trudge into the wilds where you find a hatch. Then you're into classic Eldritch territory, heading down through one cavern after another, avoiding enemies and traps, trying to stay alive and snagging any loot you can find. In this gameplay footage you can see a bunch of cool new stuff. After the gloom of the rest of the game, the bright white and blue environments are wonderfully vivid and frosty, and the engine shuffles them together in some interesting ways. They're great dungeons to dive through, and they're filled with awful dead ends and other hazards. The icicles that fall from above and kill you are wonderfully energising, you can't dawdle around, and instead of the fountains in the normal game that restore your life, you get bonfires. Ooh, toasty. The enemies are good too. The star-headed things speak for themselves and have a decent ranged attack, though if you can get above them they can't hit you. But the stars are the penguins. In the novella, the Stroggoth have been breeding blind albino penguins for food. Here though, they're real killers. They take a bunch of hits before dying, and the first time you see one waddling out of the mist, it's both hilarious and terrifying at the same time. The best thing about the expansion though is the weaponry. Along with daggers and rocks and guns, the sort of stuff you get in the traditional game, you also get grappling guns that allow you to shoot ropes to climb around with, which is really cool, and also axes and pickaxes. Pickaxes are particularly good because in the standard game you need either dynamite or a mod for your gun which allows its bullets to shoot through walls, and they're both a bit of a faff. The pickaxe allows you to hack away at blocks Minecraft style without much fuss though, and it's a regular treat to find. So there you go, if Eldritch looks like it's something you'd enjoy, you can download it now on Steam for £9.99 mini-pounds. And if Christian thinks it's awesome, that's enough of an incentive for me to do the same thing. Thanks for watching, and as always, you can make a video editor happy this Christmas by clicking on that on-screen annotation and giving our channel a subscribe. Tatty bye!